So yeah, the first thing I would do if I had enough money would obviously be to buy a new stable block. This it's served us well, but she's old, she's battered and bruised, and she's not in the best shape ever. Now, obviously, we're going to patch this up again like we do every year, but you know, if in an ideal world, I would like to get a brand new stable block put in. So I wouldn't have wood again. I'm done with wood. It is just such a damp area, and I have just accepted the fact that wood comes here and it rots. Like, it just rots so ridiculously fast. The maintenance on it is crazy. So the dream for me would be to rip this thing down and have a purpose-built brick structure put up. And actually what I would probably do is I would probably have it over the entirety of this like yard area. So including where the stables are now. And then it would just like, we would have like a big brick built building, like a barn, I guess, over this whole like concreted area, like including where all the sheds and bits and bobs are over there. And I have actually, when I've been having days of like trying to motivate myself and trying to like foolishly and naively plan for the future, I have actually come out here and like measured it up before. And I worked out that we could have 4 stables plus a tack room, like a much bigger tack room than we have now. And there would be room for a small feed room, and there would be room for like a tie-up area, like a wash kind of tie-up area, so we could have the shower set up with the hot water all the time. Oh, and it would just be so good. Like, oh, I can literally visualize it. Sitting here now, I can visualize it. And I think what I'd probably do, I would obviously have a little door down the back there. So we'd have like the stables would be where they are now. So it'd be stable, stable. The tack room wouldn't be here. That would be going over there. So it'd be like stable, stable, stable. And then there'd be a tack room or feed room or whatever over in the back corner. We'd have a little door going through the back into the garden. And then we'd have like that whole mess of sheds we've got over there. That would then be like another stable, and then our little wash tie-up area, and then we'd have like a little feed room area. Oh, and then this bit over here would be like our tie-up area like it is now. But I may well have it like open fronted. Like, I don't know if I would want a solid wall on this bit. Like, I feel like I'd want it open fronted so we could see out into the yard still. As you can tell, I have thought about this quite a lot. It's probably never going to happen, but I can dream, right? I can dream. And I would probably... See, I don't know what I would do about the shelter over there, because... Yeah, that was a tricky one. Because, I mean, ideally, like, we're talking ideal scenario here. So obviously this little area here, our turnout area, I would get a proper like all-weather surface put on that, and like I would get it dug out and redone properly. We'd put good drainage in there, decent fences put on it for a start. And yeah, I put like a really good quality all-weather surface on that. But then the bit behind it, so obviously we've got our little turnout yard here, and then we've got like the bit behind it where the horses are currently, and like where our muck heap is. So that whole stretch down there, like to the boundary of the property, my vision for that involves a arena and a second hard standing area. The dream is big, people, I'm telling you, the dream is big and expensive. So yeah, so all of this behind me here, this would be like our barn, our little den area with our stables and everything. I'm not 100% sure what I would do with this. I feel like this would be a secondary brick built building, but it would go up to like where the muck heap is. Like that whole thing would be like rebuilt into something else, but I haven't given that bit too much thought for some reason. I don't know why. Sorry, I just had to wipe a load of water off my lens. And yeah, so then we'd have our all-weather surface out here, which would be lush. And then out here, excuse the state of that. Oh yeah, we got some of it moved, and the guy's tractor blew a hydraulic pipe. Oh, I've never seen fluid pee out of a piece of machinery like that before. It was quite the spectacle, but Yeah, hopefully that'll be gone in the next couple of weeks. Fingers crossed. But yeah, the vision for this space is basically to hard stand, basically up. Oh, I got drops on my lens again, dang it. Yeah, so the vision for this space would basically be to hardcore, like probably up to where the last little bit of post and rail fencing is, so like there-ish. And this would be like hard standing. It would serve as like a secondary turnout area. Also, it would serve as horse box parking, because I would have a 3.5 ton horse box if we're talking ideal dream scenario here. And what we would do is we would keep all of our haylage and our bedding along this backside here, because it's kind of like meh space. And then the back end of this, so basically where the 3 horses are now, like down the back bit of this field, that would be the menage down there. That would be the riding arena. And I did go out there and measure it out once upon a time. So if I remember correctly, it would need to be a little bit wider than where our fence currently sits. But, water check, sorry guys. But yeah, for the most part, I'm trying to think, it was a little bit further down than the end of this, what's left of this post and rail fence. So probably, I don't know, probably about in line where the end of that junk pile is, thereabouts, maybe a little bit further up. But yeah, that would be around about a 20 by 40 area that I would turn into my riding arena with an all-weather surface and floodlights. Oh, it would be so good. So we'd have a lovely big barn along there with all of our stables. It'd all be undercover, so I don't care if it rains for like 2/3 of the year, because I've got somewhere dry to get my horses ready, and I've got somewhere nice to bath them and pamper them and do stuff with them. And then we'll have a nice all-weather surface out here, so it won't get flooded and it won't be dirty. And then we'll have, as I said, spare hard standing out here, but this would mostly be, like I said, haylage and horsebox parking, stuff like that. And then down there would be the arena, so we can ride all winter and I can keep them fit and we can do schooling, and it doesn't matter how crappy the ground is. Oh, it would be so good. It would be so, so good. I want it. I want it to happen. I need to win the lottery. And yeah, the garden would like probably stay where it is. As for the rest of the property, like there's not an awful lot I would really change. Oh no, there is one thing I would do down there actually. Oh yeah, so the 2 things. So the mucky is going to be living down there from now on anyway, but yeah, the mucky would stay down there. And for the winter, this is something that we're actually hoping might happen this year, because we really don't want to have the muck up here anymore. But we want to get like a sort of a track going down there. We were thinking about using those things they use for festivals to like get vehicles over the ground on, and do a track of that going down there to the mucky. So that's all out of sight and out of mind. Rain check again, sorry. And yeah, the other thing I would do down there is I'm gonna get a big fat, like 12-foot tall, solid fence on that motorway boundary to hopefully block out some of the horrible sound. So like literally the entire bottom of the property will just have a massive fence. We won't have to see it, we won't have to hear it, hopefully. And then I'm gonna plant some really tall trees down there. I want it completely smothered out. I don't want to see that thing anymore. Oh yeah, and I would also buy a lot more trees to go other places as well. So I'd really want to like fill the hedgerow in, and yeah. And I would buy a tractor. I would buy a mini tractor as well, so that we can do our own field maintenance. Like we can put the harrow in and we can move the muck around and we can do all that ourselves. It's kind of a big list of stuff, isn't it? It's, yeah. And I mean, while we're talking about it as well, I would go ahead and buy myself a nice show jump set. And I would get some really good cross-country jumps put out there. You know, I might even go as far. This is ridiculous given the fact that we only have 2.5 acres, but you gotta make the most of your space. I would even go as far as putting in an all-weather track around the perimeter of the property. Like, I've thought about doing this before. So it could kind of like start off the tail end of our arena down there and just kind of like go all the way around the outside of the property, like all the way around the bottom bit and then back up the hill and then come back up to the yard. And then we'd have like a little walk loop stroke canter track and it would be awesome. So yeah, that would be my ideal vision for this property. We're a long way off, making that vision a reality, and we're a lot of money away from making that a vision a reality. And yeah, sadly, it probably won't ever happen because of money, which is so frustrating. Oh, but yeah, that's my silly little dream vision, imaginary world, the things that I would do. Oh, and also, I will be buying myself a quintain and a jousting tilt and an archery target, because all of those things are great fun and I want to do more of that. So, you know, while we're building the dream stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and throw that into the mix as well. Oh, yeah. This place could be really cool. This place could be really, really cool. I mean, it's probably some of you thinking right now, well, if you're going to spend all that money and do all of that stuff, why don't you just go buy a different property somewhere else? And like, ultimately, yes, we could do that, but that would require probably more money than it would take to do this place up and make it really cool. And actually, this place could be really, really cool if we could set it up how I would want it to be set up. Like, this place does have potential. It really does have potential, but I don't have the money to make the potential a reality, sadly. Yeah, I'd actually be really curious to know, like, what would your vision be for your yard if you had the money to do it up? Like, I've put a lot of thought into this over the past, and I'm sure other people have as well. And yeah, I'd love to know what kind of things you guys would do with your place if you had the money, because I'm sure we all think about it, and I'm sure we all rock ourselves to sleep crying every now and then, realizing that we can't have it. But I don't know, it's kind of fun to share it sometimes, just to, you know, live in Doolally land for a little bit and imagine what it could be like to live on the other side. Anyway, I think I probably need to not be here right now. Yes, I need to not be here right now. I have to go meet up with a friend of mine because we are going to go do some gym stuff together. And I'm going to come back and then I'm going to ride my ponies and prepare myself to go back to work tomorrow. Life, adulting, great fun. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one, guys. It was a little bit silly. But yeah, maybe one day we'll get some of this stuff to come through. Who knows, if we're very lucky. See you soon.